Imagine this. You're sitting in a quiet room, and then a sound starts. A simple one. A low hum. Not loud, not painful. Just there. At first, it's annoying, like a mosquito you can't see. Your brain locks onto it immediately, because your brain is paranoid. It's built to ask one question. Is this a threat? So it listens harder, zooms in, sharpens the edges. The sound gets louder in your mind, even if it doesn't change. That's the first illusion. You don't hear sound the way it exists. You hear it the way your brain prioritizes it. And right now, this sound is important. So your brain turns up the volume. Minutes pass. Nothing happens. No danger, no change, no pattern. And slowly, your brain gets bored. Because attention is expensive. It burns energy. It drains focus. It keeps you in a state of alert. And your brain hates wasting energy. So it makes a decision. Not consciously, but strategically. It starts to ignore the sound. Not reduce it, ignore it. Like a security camera that stops recording after seeing the same empty hallway for hours. The sound is still there, but your brain stops reporting it. You feel relief, like silence has returned. But here's the truth. Silence didn't come back. Your brain just muted reality. And that's where things get weird. Because now, the sound has entered a different layer. Not the world, but your system. Hours pass. The hum continues, unchanging, relentless. And something subtle begins to happen. Your brain starts predicting it. Before the sound even hits your ear, your brain already knows it's coming, so it stops listening entirely. Why process something you already know? So the sound disappears completely. Not because it stopped, but because your brain replaced it with expectation. You're no longer hearing the sound. You're simulating it. And when simulation replaces perception, reality starts to glitch. Because now your brain has a gap, a missing input, and the brain hates empty space. It fills gaps, always. That's why you see faces in clouds, hear your name in noise, feel your phone vibrate when it didn't. Your brain is not a recorder, it's a storyteller. And now, the story is missing a piece, so it writes its own. At around hour 6, something shifts. You're not just ignoring the sound anymore. You start questioning it. Wait, is it still there? You listen, and suddenly, it's back. Loud, sharp, almost aggressive, like it was hiding, waiting for you to notice again. But here's the twist. The sound didn't come back. Your attention did. And attention is a spotlight. Where it shines, reality intensifies. So now you're stuck in a loop. Ignore to forget to check to amplify. Again and again and again. Your brain is fighting itself. One part wants to save energy. The other wants certainty. And this conflict starts to leak. Around hour 10, the sound begins to change. Not in reality, but in your perception. It starts to feel patterned. Almost like there's meaning in it. Like a rhythm, a whisper, a code. This is where most people panic. Because your brain is doing something dangerous. It's upgrading noise into signal, turning randomness into intention. Why? Because the brain would rather believe something is intentional than meaningless. Meaning feels safer than chaos, even if that meaning is fake. So now, that simple hum starts to feel like something is behind it, watching, communicating, waiting. And you can't unhear it, because once your brain assigns meaning, it locks in. Like seeing a hidden image in a picture, you can't go back. And this is only the beginning, because by the time you reach hour 12, the sound is no longer just something you hear. It becomes something you feel. The sound is no longer outside you. It's inside your body. Not metaphorically, literally. Your chest tightens slightly, in sync with it. Your breathing starts adjusting, without asking you. Even your heartbeat feels like it's trying to match the rhythm. Because your brain doesn't just hear sound, it syncs with it. Like a drummer locking into a beat. Like soldiers marching in step. Like crowds clapping without thinking. This is called entrainment, but it doesn't feel like science. It feels like control, because now, the sound is shaping your internal state. Your nervous system starts to shift, not dramatically, subtly. You feel more tense, or strangely calm, or unsettled. But you can't explain why. There's no visible threat, just that sound. Still there, always there. Hour 14. Something breaks. Not your ears, not your sanity, your sense of separation. Because up until now, there was you and the sound. Two different things. Now, they start to blur. You stop asking, where is the sound? And start feeling, why is this happening to me? Your brain is no longer treating the sound as external input. It's treating it as part of your environment, like gravity, like air, like existence. And that's dangerous. Because once something becomes normal, your brain stops questioning it, even if it's harmful. That's how people adapt to noise pollution, to stress, to anxiety. Not because it's okay, but because it's constant. And constant things become invisible. Hour 16. You try to escape it, cover your ears, play music, move to another room. But here's the problem. The sound isn't just in the air anymore. It's in your expectation. Your brain anticipates it, recreates it, fills it in. So even when it's gone, you still hear it, like a phantom limb, a ghost signal. And now you're trapped in the most unsettling place a human can be, a reality you can't verify. Is the sound real, or is it you? And the more you try to check, the worse it gets. Because attention feeds it. Every time you listen, you reinforce it. Every time you doubt, you strengthen it. It's like scratching an itch that grows stronger every time you touch it. Hour 18. Sleep becomes impossible. Not because of volume, but because of uncertainty. Your brain stays alert, scanning, listening, trying to resolve the conflict. And this is where exhaustion kicks in. Your mental defenses weaken. Your filtering system, the one that used to protect you, starts to fail. And when that filter breaks, everything floods in. Tiny background noises become sharp. Your own breathing sounds too loud. Your thoughts feel noisy. And suddenly, you're not just hearing one sound. You're hearing everything. Too much, at once. Your brain, desperate to regain control, does something extreme. It starts simplifying, cutting things out, merging signals, distorting perception. And that's when the sound changes again. It's no longer just a hum. It becomes layered, complex, almost intentional, like something is speaking through it, not clearly, not in words, but in patterns your brain wants to understand. Because humans are wired for meaning. We don't tolerate randomness well. We convert it, force it, even if it breaks us. Hour 20. You're no longer reacting to the sound. You're interacting with it. You start testing it, listening closely, waiting for variation, trying to catch something hidden. And in doing so, you've crossed a line. Because now, you're participating in the illusion. Your brain isn't just receiving anymore. It's generating, projecting, looping. And here's the most unsettling part. You don't know which part is real, the sound or your interpretation. Because to your brain, there's no difference. Reality is not what exists. It's what your brain agrees to believe. And right now, that agreement is breaking down. Hour 22. The sound feels personal, not because it changed, but because your brain did. It starts to feel directed, like it's aimed at you, reacting to you, following your attention. And this is where fear fully takes over, because the brain has one rule. If something reacts to you, it might be alive. And if it's alive, it might be a threat. So now, a simple, constant sound has become something your brain treats like an entity, watching, responding, present, but invisible. And you can't escape it, because even if you run, you take your brain with you. And your brain is where the sound now lives. Hour 24. You're exhausted. Your perception is unstable. Your brain has spent an entire day trying to decide, ignore it, fight it, understand it. And it failed. So it does one final thing, not to protect you, but to survive. It lets go of the question entirely. And in that moment, something terrifying happens. It stops asking if the sound is real, and instead, it accepts it completely. No resistance, no analysis, no checking, just acceptance. And suddenly, everything goes quiet. Not because the sound stopped, but because your brain finally surrendered to it. This is the part no one expects. You don't go insane because the sound is too loud. You go quiet because your brain decides it's no longer worth fighting. The system shuts down the conflict, and when conflict disappears, so does awareness. Sound becomes part of your baseline, like your own breathing, like the hum of existence itself. You're no longer hearing it, you are living inside it. And that's the twist. The real danger was never the sound. It was your brain's need to classify it, threat or safe, important or ignore, because that system is what creates your reality. Let's break it. Your brain is not designed to show you the world. It's designed to filter it, relentlessly, brutally, efficiently. At any given moment, there are millions of signals hitting your senses, sounds, lights, sensations. But you experience almost none of them, because your brain deletes what it thinks doesn't matter. That silence you feel every day, it's not silence, it's edited reality, a carefully curated version of the world, just stable enough to keep you sane. But when one signal refuses to change, refuses to disappear, refuses to be categorized, your brain breaks its own rules trying to deal with it. First, it amplifies. Then, it ignores. Then, it predicts. Then, it replaces. Then, it hallucinates. And finally, it absorbs. That's the full cycle, not of hearing, but of perception. And here's the part that flips everything. You think you hear the world as it is, but what you actually hear is what your brain allows, which means you are not living in reality. You are living in a negotiation, a constant agreement between chaos and survival. And that sound? It just exposed the system. Because once you notice how your brain filters one thing, you start questioning everything. That background noise you never noticed, that constant tension in your body, that voice in your head you call yourself. How much of it is real, and how much of it is just what your brain decided to keep? Because if a simple sound can disappear, reappear, change meaning, and become part of you, then what else have you already accepted without realizing it? Maybe your stress, maybe your habits, maybe your fears, maybe your identity, all just signals, repeated long enough until your brain stopped questioning them and called them normal. So the next time you sit in silence, ask yourself this: is it really silent, or is your brain just doing its job, hiding the noise so you don't lose your mind? Because silence was never empty, it was protection.